Hello, everyone, and welcome down to episode number 68 of the Down South Photo Show here down south in Australia, the Southern Hemisphere, the world. I'm Brendan Waite here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, and on the other screen and in your other ear, if you are listening, it's Cam Blake in Hobart Town, Tasmania. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Brendan. Is actually anyone listening at all?
People listen. There's downloads, there's stats.
Well, I actually got asked yesterday by a rival podcaster how many downloads we get per week of our episode, and my response was,
the guy that should have been a golfer?
Yeah, should have been. And my response to them was a lot more than your podcast.
And he said, "How do you know that?"
And I said, I actually don't know because I don't hang on to all those stats. That's more your department. But
how about next week's episode? I'll update everyone with how we're going on the audio side of, because we know how we're going on the YouTube side. And for those of you, for the three of you listening that haven't seen the YouTube, we actually run this thing on YouTube. That's why it's a photography show that you can actually, because you want to be able to see when we're talking about photos. So if you didn't know, we actually have this over on YouTube as well, linked below.
If you want to put faces to voices,
why would you?
This is where you do it. But be warned, it's not pretty.
That's great. That's
good.
What did you speak for yourself?
Oh, hey, I didn't put something in the show notes about what my background was, but that's okay.
Hey, let's talk about it now anyway. Well, we'll strike while the iron's hot.
Let's do it.
For those of you listening but not watching, Cam's background is...
For me who are watching, not listening, well, in the spirit of what's happened in the last few days, this is a scene from the Overland Track, Brendan.
Oh, very
so
good.
This is day 2 of the Overland Track, a place called Waterfall Valley. And if we're lucky enough to get this section of track a little bit damp, these snow gums are absolutely magnificent along this section. So this is a section, only literally 5-minute walk from camp. It's not far. And it just looks down the valley, back down towards the 4th valley, which is another valley we'll cross. But I just love these trees. I reckon I've photographed that tree every single time I've walked past it. And it's been different every time, but I love it every time. So,
well, this time around will be no exception.
No, this time around is going to be good. I think we've got, well, usually the groups I have are fairly enthusiastic photographers, but this one we've actually got a few really good photographers on it. So I have a feeling we're going to be doing a bit more photography.
And us.
And us, and you as well. So that's my background. Your background looks a little bit familiar. Did you change it from the last episode?
Yeah, but it's the same spot. I just, it's my favorite spot. So here we have 13th Beach. I really forgot its name. 13th Beach. This was done on the sunset on the second night of our workshop down here. It's a cool spot. It's sort of, the photos take themselves along that stretch of coastline. It is awesome. Everywhere you point your camera, that's very, very cool. I really enjoy getting down there, so much so that I went there only a few nights ago, and I haven't managed to get those photos ready to show anyone. So, but they'll come. Went back to the very spot, but down on the beach below the platform that we're on, Cam.
Well, there's an interesting point you make there. One, I like your background. I actually saw something on that shot the other day. There's a little person sitting on the steps, at the bottom, which is very cool.
Yeah, I left them there. And you know what? If you zoom right in, it looks for all the world like they're flying a drone, like they're looking at a drone screen.
Maybe
now, they may very well be, but it was blowing a gale that night. So I'm starting to think they're probably just on their phone. But it adds that little touch of human element to it, doesn't it?
Maybe they were looking for their drone after it went flying off course.
That's right. It's now gone that way over those hills there.
So that was one thing I love about that photo. And did you know, for the guys that did come along to that workshop, that was the second one?
Yes.
That was the second one.
Yes.
There was somebody in our group who actually went down to the beach. Did you know that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Good to see that we're looking at keeping an eye on numbers of who was around and safety.
Was it not Jason from Port Fairy?
I'm not too sure who it was that went down there, but someone went down there on the beach. And I'm like, oh, cool. Because there's some really cool rocks down there that I saw. And I thought, oh, they'd be good. How's that Myrtle lemon vodka go?
Sorry. So I've never had this before. This was left in my fridge. And it's lemon myrtle vodka.
There's a reason it was left in your fridge. Because it tastes like cat's piss.
No, it's just different. And it caught me off guard. It's actually quite nice, but I've never had the lemon myrtle vodka before with Kakadu plum and soda.
Can you throw any more Aussie bits of tree in there.
They might as well just call it Struth, you little beauty. I mean, it's awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
there you go.
so 13th Beach, awesome spot for photos. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, one of our participants went down on the beach, and I took the new OM5 for a run along the beach the other night. Absolutely loved it. I think I'd text you a couple of photos.
Yeah.
Super happy with it. I think there's a lot of different features that I'm really going to like over time.
Yeah,
like not least of which is just densities. How the
neutral densities.
Well, the built-in ND is an absolute win. That was a no-brainer for me. I was always going to use that. The other thing that pleasantly surprised me was the ease of use of the app to get a photo. So I'm down on the beach. I take a photo. I go straight to the van, which is just parked up on the top here in the car park. I sit in the front seat of the van for 2 minutes and download a couple of the photos to my phone and immediately upload them to my social media through the camera and photo. Very, very cool. I mean, that's been around for ages, but it's I just found the artist formerly known as Olympus's interface really intuitive.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that's really good about that is you can actually update your firmware through the software app. So you don't have to plug it into a computer. You can actually just download it wirelessly into the app and it updates it. So, yeah. But it's good. Cool. It's good to see you out taking some photos.
More photos than ever. And I think it's partly in part to the Down South Photo Show and to the workshops that we're running and all that sort of stuff. It's got me out back behind the camera, which is always good.
That's good. Have you sold your Torquay shop yet?
No, but the episode that came out on Friday has sparked a little bit of interest. So there's... it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but we shall see. There's been a few developments which I'm not going to disclose here on the podcast at this time.
Maybe we'll talk about it off air.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Now, our week, what have you been up to? Now, we won't, full disclosure, we're actually recording this quite early in the week, so
you've ruined everything.
It's literally been a weekend.
You've ruined it. We've waited 3 days. Why are we recording so early, Brendan? Is that because you won't be around?
Well, I threatened to not do an episode at all, and boy, did I cop it. So that's all right. That's fine. Mainly for you.
What have I been doing this week?
This weekend.
So this week I'm actually heading to Cradle Mountain tomorrow.
Brilliant.
So I got to deliver some books. Our Cradle Mountain Overland Track book is literally flying off the shelves. So we are delivering some books to Launceston and Cradle Mountain, and then also Lake Sinclair, the beautiful Pump House Point hotel, which is a really lovely place. They're going to stop it as well. So I'll be on the road all day tomorrow.
I sense a book signing coming on. You need to go to a bookshop and do a signing session.
Maybe. We did the book launch where we signed it, but our co-author, Tom Putt, he has actually left the country. He's heading over to Yellowstone.
Well, that's going to be hard for him to sign books.
Yeah, so it might be a bit hard to get a signed copy from him for a while.
Oh, just popping off to Yellowstone, is he? Okay.
Just popping off, yeah. He's off to Yellowstone to run a workshop. So good luck to him. I hope it all goes well.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. What about you, Brens? You've been out shopping, haven't you?
So retail therapy for me today actually went out and started purchasing some gear for the overland track. So I'm not a hiker. It's not something that I've done. Years ago I did a couple of overnight hikes. Mount Feathertop, I think I did. I did some tramping in New Zealand when I was like 21. So it's quite a while ago. Needless to say, I don't have any of that gear left from back then. So I need to get some gear. A lot of my awesome friends chipped in for my 50th and gave me a heap of vouchers for some outdoor adventure kind of places that don't sponsor the show, so we won't name them. They should.
They should.
Got myself a pack, got myself a sleeping bag, a sleeping mat. Got myself some, what are they called, dry bags or whatever to put inside there. A few other bits and bobs. So very excited and starting to set myself up for a bit of hiking and adventure.
Yeah, it's not far. It's only 69 days as of today before we head off. So
beautiful.
I think we should try. I know it's going to be hard, but I think we should almost do a little bit of a overland track podcast on the way. So every night we should sit there and just sort of have a chat and record the audio. We could set up a video and maybe we can talk about each day, do like a 10-minute snippet of each day and put it together. We'll probably get to day 6 and you'll have me in a headlock punching the shit out of me. And
we'll need to sort of sneak off into the bushes or something, like into that area behind you there, and
set
ourselves up in a little I don't know. We'll see how it works. We'll contemplate that. But
Well, it's funny because we could do it because we are going to do it. I've actually got two wireless lapel mics which take up no room. So we could hook it up to a camera, we could audio record it, we could video record it.
are they the Rode ones?
They are the Rode ones, not sponsored by Rode.
I have those as well. So
we could do that, and we could record it, and we could just have a quick, cheeky 10-minute chat each day.
All right. You're on.
And maybe we'll get some guests on. We can have some special guests come in.
Special guests, like the odd wombat or
wombat, or hey, I tell you what, I won't. Yeah, I will tell you. There's a possum on the track at one of the days, and I shit you not, he is the size of an Alsatian dog.
Okay.
And he loves tents. He loves getting in tents.
Great.
And so be warned.
Great. Can't wait to be woken up screaming in the middle of the night, being eaten by a possum the size of a German Shepherd.
Well, they don't generally eat. They generally get you. They sort of come up behind you and they just whisper in your ear.
Okay.
Yeah. So
our international viewers are intrigued.
Yeah. So the possum, for people who don't know what a possum is, they are a pain in the bum. They're just like a ferret of some sort.
They're like a rat, really. They're a native rat. Let's be honest.
They're an oversized rat and they're a pain in the bum. But
I'm assuming this is a brush-tailed possum.
It is a brush-tailed possum.
Yeah. They're the feralist.
I kid you not. It's funny. Like, the cartoons where that bulldog used to walk through and it had a little chihuahua next to it.
Yes.
Mitten something, I think it was called. Well, this possum walks through camp like that bulldog. He just goes, "This is my house."
Yep.
He doesn't.
What do you got for me?
Yeah, he's got no fear, no nothing. It's hilarious.
I like it. Anyway, I can't wait to meet. We'll name him. What's his name? He's got to have a name.
Yeah, we'll call him Jamie.
So the Down South Photo Show workshops, which people are going to get sick to death of hearing about until they sell out, which is really soon, are in full swing. So our King's birthday long weekend on the Bellarine, the June 10 and 11th workshops are up and running and available for sale. The June 10th one has sold out. Is that right, Cam?
We got one spot left, but I would suggest by the time this comes out to air that the June 10 one will be sold out.
So we may very well have no spots left on the Sunday one as well by the time this comes out, but go and have a look. If you're keen, check in, have a look, see.
Links in the description.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that already, given I know it's very fresh in our memories when we ran the workshop that photo was taken on.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm excited about is the fact that it's going to be winter.
Yes, different season, different colors, different weather.
Yep. We'll be carrying thermoses with us.
Yeah. And we'll be able to tell everyone about the possum. We'll be able to tell everyone where you got that big scar on your face.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly. If you would like to come to the Bellarine workshop, jump on the website, have a look, see. As we say, a couple of places left. Drum roll, please. We are announcing the Murray Mallee workshop. Yeah.
Ooh, have we got special effects for that?
No. Kicks off on the 13th of October, which is
Friday.
Did we work this out? Yeah, Friday. It's actually going to kick off the day before. It'll be on the 12th.
It'll kick off the night before, but
the night before.
Yeah.
But all that'll be linked in the thing below. So it's we are looking at 4 days of photography tuition and photography workshops and shooting landscapes in an awesome and, in my opinion, underrated part of the country.
Yes.
And certainly in a unique part of the country where ain't no one doing workshops in this area, folks.
No, there isn't. It's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. In the description on the website, I actually put it down as being untapped because I really like. We're going to go visit some of the silo art, which we know is incredible. But really, from that region, you don't see too much apart from that. People seem to drive through, do the silo art circuit, and that's it. But there's a truckload more to shoot up there. So we're looking really, really excited to host that. So do you want me to go through some details? Or
yes, please. That would be lovely.
Cool. It'll go on sale at the same time as this episode comes out. We've already had, there's about 8, we'll have 8 places, and I reckon we've had about a dozen people show their interest, if not more. So it'll be first in, first served. It's a full inclusive tour with Brent and I. So that'll include accommodation. So you get the 3 nights, or actually to be 4 nights accommodation. And you'll also get all your meals included. We're not paying for your alcohol because
we know what you guys are like.
Our alcohol bill will be bad enough without adding others.
We'll be trying to make a little bit of money on this. we buy, and then all the meals, all the accommodation, and also all the transfers. So we're going to meet the start and finish in Swan Hill, but we're going to have a minibus. So we'll travel all around at once in a nice, beautiful minibus. Brendan and I will share the driving. If you feel up to it, feel free to jump in the front seat, be co-pilot, whatever you want to do. It'll be a full-blown landscape workshop. So we're not leaving anything out. So everything that Brendan and I know about landscape photography and photography in general, it's out on the table. So we will put it all out there for 4 days, and you guys get the benefit. So look out. The link will be in the description of this. We'll plug it on social media, obviously, as well. But it'll be a first in, first served. We haven't finalized the price just yet, so that's why we're not announcing the price on here. But jump online and have a look, and hopefully we get 8 wonderful Down South Photo Show fans to come along, and maybe we'll learn something. Maybe they'll teach us something.
Oh, well, that goes without saying. I learn something new every day when it comes to photography. But Cam's exactly right, and particularly in the part where he says we're going to basically teach you guys everything we know about shooting places like that. I've been lucky enough. Well, I was lucky enough to call Swan Hill home for quite a few years when I was a youngster. Had my youth in Swan Hill, grew up in Swan Hill. So I know the area very, very well. I wouldn't say like the back of my hand because that's ridiculous, but I know it very, very well. So I've got, I've lined up some awesome locations for us to go and shoot. And as I said, they're unique. And I think last week on the show, I think we actually summed it up accidentally quite well. And that is, it's on the edge of the outback. You know, you will get an opportunity to shoot some proper outback type scenes. But the Mallee is famous for massive farmland, and as we've said, Lake Tyrrell, the salt lakes that are out there, and the silo art, and the towns. I'm really excited about. Look, predominantly it's going to be landscape, of course, but these little country towns with their hip little train stations and really cool old shops and stuff that was built in the late 1800s and still standing. Very cool. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be a pretty special workshop. Of course, I would say that because we want you guys to come along. But it's the truth.
It's funny you say that because I haven't spent much time in Swan Hill. I think we did a few trips to Swan Hill. Might have done a school camp. And then, like I said, I've driven through that region a few times now to get to the Flinders Ranges and on the way there and back. And I tell you what, it's that section from Swan Hill sort of out to the border of South Australia that I've sort of done that I reckon I could have stopped a million times to take photos. And only that I was on a time frame to get to the other location. Even my cousin Daniel, who helps me out with some of the workshops, like he's not much of a photographer. He's got a pretty good eye, but even he was driving along, goes, "Oh, how cool's that old barn over there?" And he goes, "How good's that tree in the middle of the paddock over there? Looks awesome." So there's all these really cool scenes out there. So yeah, and like we said, it's the way I normally run my workshops. Like Brendan and I haven't done any multi-day ones together. We've done these one-day ones, but the way I run the multi-day ones is my brain is yours to pick and squeeze and get every inch of information out of me about how to use your camera, how to shoot, when to shoot, what this does, what this doesn't do, what lens to use. You know, you guys are paying money to come and join us to learn, and that's it. We're not there to take our own photos. We're there to make sure that you get your photos and get something out of it. So hopefully people who are interested come along, and hopefully it's the first of many multi-day ones, and yeah, it should be great.
Yeah, a couple of little things sprang to mind as you were speaking there. One, the time of year we're going is going to be the height of spring, which can deliver some wildflowers in that area as well. So
what about canola fields?
Cool. Canola fields up that way, not so much.
A bit later,
they're actually more sort of south, but up there it'll be the wheat fields. Cool. Will be in full tilt, wheat and barley. But I went up there at the same time last year, and the flowers, that's pretty cool. So hopefully Mother Nature helps us out and we get some cool flower scenes to shoot and stuff like that. We have timed Lake Tyrrell very well because we've timed it when there ain't no moon.
I thought you were going to say when the tide's out.
That's right. No moon, meaning hopefully if we get the conditions right, we'll be able to shoot some astro
Milky Way over lake reflections because it's a pretty shallow lake, isn't it?
It's incredibly shallow. That's right. And depending on the conditions, you can even get sometimes you can be there and there's no water in it. Right. But you get the salt lake, the salt pan, which has its own reflective properties.
You know what I'd love to shoot, and this is something I always enjoy, is a lake with a storm, lightning coming over the back. So I'd love to get a storm.
No problem, mate. I'll dial one up for you.
Yeah,
I've got
just a
very
real
good
big
contacts. Piece of cake.
Good stuff.
Consider
yeah.
it done.
So yeah, look out Friday. What's that? What's the date Friday? Got no idea.
That's a very good question. He looks it up, and it's the 10th.
The 10th. So on the 10th, when this comes out at 5:00 p.m., not a.m. like last week.
Yes, someone may have pushed the wrong button.
So when this comes out, there'll be a link in the description below. You'll see it on the Facebook site anyway, and our personal site. So keep an eye out for that. Book it in. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. Don't leave the questions too long because you might miss out. This won't be the last one that we do. So if you miss out, don't stress. We'll be doing more and probably mix up the locations. I think there's a hint of Tassie maybe involved in maybe doing one. So
I'm definitely keen to do more. So hey, let's as we say, we're growing this organically, and we'll see what comes. But so far so good for sure.
Yeah, sweet, cool.
Keep an eye out for it. Linked in the description. Okay, we've got a bit of a hot topic. And part of the reason why we're recording this earlier in the week as well, aside from the fact that I'm going away, but Cam sent me a little message. I think that was Friday night. Is that right?
Yeah, it wasn't much. Yeah. It wasn't long after this meant to come out.
Last week's episode came out, and it was a post on social media that showed a lovely photograph, he says in inverted commas, that went ahead and won a competition run by friends of the podcast, DigiDirect.
Yes.
You may remember we gave away a prize for DigiDirect last year.
They're our one and only sponsor.
They are so far, other than camera and photo and Cam Blake photography and Taz Photo Tours.
That's it. The proper sponsor. Yeah.
Sorry, we got to cut to the chase here. Anyway, it turns out that the winning photo in the DigiDirect photo competition was completely fake. It was made by artificial intelligence. Now, the thing to say straight away is that the people that won the competition confessed immediately. They knew that they had entered a fake image, and it was a experiment to see what would happen. They didn't think they'd win the thing, but they did. Now, are we able to put the photo on the screen? Surely we can.
Well, you're the editor.
Sorry, the photo. Can we put the fakery on the screen? Yeah, we'll put it on the screen.
Can we put the controversy on the screen?
Yeah, well, it's on the screen there now. And if you have a look at the photo, you'll notice that there's some surfers in the foreground. It's pretty amazing light and all that sort of stuff. But when you realize that it's AI, you go, of course it's AI, because the water in the background gives it away. It's not like waves don't break like that.
Yes.
But to think that image that you're looking at there was basically made it on a keyboard. Yep. So they basically typed in what kind of image they wanted to see.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, here we go. We're on a slippery slope, folks. Cam,
sure
what was your initial reaction?
Mine was a little bit similar.
And I've got the dump button ready to go.
Yeah, well, I reckon you might have to dump it because again, a little bit like back button focus, AI can go f itself because I think it's going to ruin this. And my first reaction to this story, and it was exactly the same as yours. I'm like, here we go. This is the end. This is where we're going. And I know for a fact there's going to be podcasts all over the world talking about this exact topic because it's going to go worldwide. So there'll be podcasts that people hear in Australia about it, and there'll be the people that say, oh yes, but AI is the way to go. Or there's, we always use AI, we drop skies in, or we do this or do that. But this is, and I was actually talking to my wife upstairs before. She's doing a graphic design course, and there was a part of her course she was doing just tonight where AI was replacing people's smiles in Photoshop from frowns to smiles and stuff like that. I think in landscape photography, if we got to the point now where we're just typing in a few keywords and creating images, and those images are good enough to fool so-called judges into winning competitions, I think we're in a lot of trouble. And I don't like it. I don't like the fact that you could sit there and go, geez, I wish there was, over the back of Brendan there, I wish there was a lightning storm, an aurora, a unicorn running along the beach, and, something going on. You type it in and it just creates this incredible image. And then people go, here you go, here's my photo. It's not good. I don't like it. It's
awful. I'm completely with you. it's an affront to our industry, is what it is, unfortunately. And it worries me because I keep thinking, oh, look, how bad is it? You know, is it really that much of an issue? It's a damn issue when people can, you know, claim it to be a real photo, and then we're going to get to a point where you're simply not going to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to start taking people's word for it. And gee, that's got us a long way over the years, hasn't it?
It has. And the other thing I think, like, look, I think the idea of AI itself, so if holistically, the whole AI, you know, whether or not it's in a medical form or government form or whatever it might be, the idea of that I have no problem with. You know, it's dangerous to a point, but that's the way we're going. But if the company that did this, I think, yes, they put their hand up and they said, oh, it's just an experiment. We wanted to see how it went. Screw them. You know what? Because they knew exactly what was going to happen. Even if they didn't win, they knew there was going to be some controversy if it placed or if it won. And they went ahead with it anyway. So they've taken absolutely no responsibility.
They went ahead with it for clicks and
that's right. So
and likes and shares and therefore ad revenue.
Yeah. So now everyone that's seen the result of this, it's on the papers and all the photographic magazines. There's going to be bright sparks out there everywhere going, well, shit, I can probably win competitions now. I won't do a full AI stuff, but
no, that's right.
I could just say, look, I really want a lightning storm behind that shot of Brendan's there. I'll do that, and away we go. Having said that, though, a lot of competitions will ask for raw files, which I think is going to increase exponentially after this, because everyone's going to say, right, raw files for everything, because no one can be trusted. But that's the thing. No one now can be trusted to enter a photographic landscape photography or any photography competition. And, you know, it's taken us back 10 steps in regards to photography and where we're going. It's already sort of struggling a bit.
Well, regardless,
now it's gone back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you and I are definitely on the same page here. And I think when you look at it as well, it's not just photographic competitions. It's a general trust of the public at large, right? There's, you know, Photoshop has always had that stigma of, oh, you've Photoshopped that.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I understand people skeptical about, you know, certain images that have been Photoshopped to the nth degree. This is different again. This is a whole new level where people who are legit photographers like yourself and myself, and, you know, all our mates in the industry, there's now going to be this cloud of doubt from the general public.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can type sentences into a keyboard, can you? That's what it's come to, and that's unnerving for me. Because, you know, there's a level of integrity that gets questioned now.
Yeah.
You know, and we shouldn't have to defend ourselves. I mean, I love photography; it's my thing, and you know, to see it treated this way, to see it bastardized in this way, really hurts. And it's, I don't know. There's a lot more to. I'm worried for where it's going to go.
Well, that's the thing. Where's the limit on this now? Like you said, there'll be bright sparks out there everywhere going, well, okay, I won't, like, I don't have to use a whole AI picture, but I can install elements into there now. So much more stealth. Without being
if you're a stock photographer, quit. You're done. You're not making one more cent from stock photography. I'm sorry, you're just not. It's over.
Well, that's right. So exactly right. So companies can say, hey, I want a Coke can sitting on a tree, and in Tasmania, bang, there it is.
It's done.
The other thing that's really worrying about this as well, and this is why AI can go, you know, forth and multiply.
One beat per episode, please.
Yeah, 1 beat per episode. So what this means now is that those AI images are getting dragged off images that are already on the internet. So out of that picture that we've flashed up that won the competition, every element of that is from someone else's photograph.
Yeah.
So where is the artist's protection there, that the AI is just not pulling photos from everywhere and using part of your photo, part of my photo, part of everyone else's photo to make a photo? I think it's just it's clever. It's clever kids playing with clever toys.
It's too clever.
Not realizing that that's going to do more damage than good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I started thinking, like, okay, well, what if someone said, okay, I need a photo of Ocean Grove Main Beach with a surfer or something like that. Now, you know, is the AI that good that they'll be able to create a photo that, you know, 99% of people look and go, yeah, that's Ocean Grove?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to say yes, that's probably what's going to happen. So, you know, even companies like Tourism Victoria or, you know, any of the travel agencies or, you know, people that promote Ocean Grove, city councils, the whole bit.
Yep.
These programs, most of them, well, from what I can tell, like something like ChatGPT it's free.
Yeah.
Like, so they're just now going to get on, and you're going to, you know, the person writing the article is now going to go, they write the article and then type into this website, I've written this article about sunset at Point Lonsdale Jetty. I need a photo of it. Thank you. Done. And it's going to generate an image that is unique.
Yep.
This is the other thing. These images they're unique. They may be made up of elements that has scoured the internet for, but that image is now an image on its own 2 feet, and it's an image. It's not a photograph.
Yeah,
it's an image.
Yeah. Well, just reading through this, just reading through this article of what it was, and the photo was called the stolen photograph or something like that. It was actually given a name.
Yeah, so no, they fully took the piss. It was
they totally took the piss. But the guy, one of the brains guys behind this AI company, I'm not even going to name the pricks. You know what? Stuff them, because I think with the more
you're going to give them more oxygen.
The more oxygen we give them, the better it's going to be for them. But he admits that the arts industry future is looking terrifying. Well, that's because pricks like you are playing around with tools and saying, oh, that's cool. And just underneath that, and this is gonna pull your heartstrings, right? There's a picture there of 2 kangaroos on a sunset beach looking at the camera. How would you feel if an AI created the Jesus kangaroo?
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. That photo is now. I mean, I get enough people questioning whether it's photoshopped anyway. Well, now. Yeah, it's like, and I can stand there and swear on my children's life that it's a real photo.
Yeah, but you've got the negative to show it.
True, but somewhere. You know, it's up to the viewer or the listener to believe you. Then, So again, it becomes an issue of integrity rather than an issue of your actual hard work. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? It shouldn't be questioned, and you know, unfortunately, it now will be. As this story grows legs. Now, at the moment, it's pretty isolated to the photographic community, but it did make news.com.au, that story.
That's right. And now we're putting it out there stupidly.
Well, yeah, but if we had to, like, it's something that we have to talk about, because it literally affects does it affect our livelihood? I think that's a question that I'm asking myself.
I think 100% it will.
Well, so do our future workshops mean teaching people what to type into a computer?
No, it doesn't. But what it means is that humans are just naturally looking for the path of least resistance. So if people sitting at home who are already struggling with their landscape photography can find a program that can do 99% of what they want to do and get, you know, we talk about social media and how we get a nice little kick from getting likes and stuff like that. It's not everyone, but there's going to be a certain section of this photography community that go, hey, I can use this to my advantage, and it's great, and I might get likes, and I might get business, and I might get that. But all you're doing is tearing thread by thread, you're tearing away the photography industry. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is, and this is something I've always had a little bit of an issue with, and probably one of the main factors why I don't enter many competitions, is that judges, I think, are responsible for part of this issue as well. So if you look at that picture that you're talking about and the photo that we put up before, like I look at that straight away and I think, oh yeah, that's cool. That's a drone shot, supposedly. There's no blur of the surfers. There's no blur of the waves. They've used a super high shutter speed practically on the last minute of the day. Like, there's a lot of elements in that, and I look at it and go, I reckon that's a little bit doctored, because there's a lot of elements in there that just don't sit right with me as a photographer and what light and cameras can do. Yeah. The judges have just looked at that and gone, wow, that's incredible. That'll win. Yeah. And I think that if the judges are not picking it up, then I think the other part, the flow-on effect of this is that every photographic competition, is their integrity now is going to be questioned even higher. Yep. And it may be the end of photographic competitions going forward. I reckon there might be too much of a grey area.
We are about to get an absolute slew of photographic competitions being won by AI.
100%, because like I said, there's going to be a smart ass out there.
Take that to the bank.
Yep, and it's just going to ruin that up. So well done to the company that did it. You did an amazing job taking everyone else's photos and put it through a computer to do something special. And unfortunately, it won a competition. I'd have to say I'm a little bit disappointed in not DigiDirect, but the judges that judge that photo. I think they should hold some responsibility for this happening. But yeah, I think we're going to hell in a handbag, is that what they say? I think
hell in a handbasket.
Hell in a handbasket.
I just want to backtrack a bit. So you said about photographic competitions may now just demand raw files.
Yeah.
Well, surely they can be doctored as well.
Well, they can. What they want is they want the raw file to accustom the JPEG file.
Yeah, but surely already there'll be some people already working on this and going, yeah, well, we can we can supply you a raw, we can give you metadata that shows you a camera that use, I'd be very surprised if the smartasses that made that image haven't already made metadata that says DJI Mavic 2 or whatever, you know what I mean, as the drone source, and it was these are all the parameters that were shot at, the resolution, all that sort of stuff. Well,
this is the other thing, that like either they did and they're very smart for doing so, or they didn't and the judges didn't do their job properly.
That's right.
So either or. But one thing that will fix this whole problem, film.
Yeah, I was thinking that as you were speaking just a minute ago.
Go back to film, produce the negative.
Yep.
You can't do much with the negative apart from what the light does. So
no.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when I saw that pop up, like my first thing was, shit, here we go. Like we're already sort of struggling as it is to try and, beat the curve a bit with landscape photography. Let's just give us a kick right in the nuts.
Okay, we can trace all this back to the birth of digital photography, right? So this was you were talking about the path of least resistance before, and you're right. That's what digital photography is. It cut out so much. Like it cut out film, storing film, buying film, shooting film, getting it processed, the cost involved. We all wanted that, right? I don't think anyone forecast these repercussions at all.
No, I don't think they did.
I mean, we've all seen Terminator.
Yeah, Skynet is awake. Right. I don't think we saw it going this far, but I think what we definitely saw is, and we've only got to look back 20 years or whatever it is since digital's been around. If you look at we'll use landscape because that's the genre we love. If you look at all the world-class landscape photographers that shot on film, it was 1% of photographers that were really, really good at film. The rest of us were all just pedaling along, trying to do our best and capture some things. It's almost the other way around now. It's like 99% of photographers are all great photographers now because they got digital, they can manipulate, they got a lot more dynamic range and parameters to work with. So we've made it easy enough as it is with our programs, Lightroom, Photoshop. Yes, there is things in those that use some sort of AI or some sort of automation, and that's fine, so be it. But this is taking the piss and going to the next level where it's saying, and it's funny because this is happening because before this happened this week, I was actually looking into AI stuff. I was actually looking at it thinking, okay, maybe this is a cool way to make some really unrealistic landscapes that you don't see
last week.
That you don't see on Earth, and that you can really sort of incorporate some of your own work. I thought it'd be a really cool little challenge. But now that this has happened, it's just like, okay, you've just potentially stuck a dagger through everyone who's a landscape photographer here, or you've lit a light under everyone who wants to be better at landscape photography. Because I can guarantee you that many people will be googling AI landscape photography. How do I do it? What programs do I use? And away we go. And we know what people are like. They get on social media and they like that endorphin hit with the likes and shares and stuff like that. Guarantee it. And I've already seen it happen on my Instagram feed. There is AI artists popping up everywhere.
Yep, there is. I think from as well, I was just thinking it takes one massive aspect out of it, and that is skill.
Yeah.
The payoff you get when you take an awesome photo, when you are out there and you take an awesome photo, or if you're in a studio and you shoot a great portrait, or you shoot a good macro shot, or you shoot a great wedding and all that sort of stuff, when it's purely a reflection of the skill set that you've developed over the years, there ain't no endorphin rush like it. And I don't give a shit if you're the king of AI. You are not going to get the same hit. It's a sugar hit. It's a sweet little look what I made. Now, hand on heart, I've been on a couple of these AI sites and created a few AI images. It is dead easy, and I can tell you right now, folks, the novelty wears off in about 2 seconds.
Yep.
As I say, it's a sugar rush. Oh, cool. What a cool image. What else can I make? And then you get really bored with it really quick.
Yeah.
It will never, ever replace going out with a camera and capturing the image.
No.
Unfortunately, what it will do is, as I say, replace the profession for a lot of people, which is a wee bit upsetting. But particularly for people who are, starting up, who are getting into it, who might be really good product photography people, product photographers, for example, or very good stock photographers, who go out and shoot telephone booths or go out and shoot, buses, because people use that stuff in their advertising. They need a stock shot of a cow in a paddock. Yeah. Well, guess what? You're not needed anymore.
No.
And as I say, that is a worry.
Yep, obsolete. And it's just annoying that, like the technology is incredible, and I think you and I can both appreciate how clever it is. But it's
incredible.
All it's done, it's just opened that bloody box where we didn't want to go, and now we're going to get, just this influx. Like you said, we're going to get influx of competitions with controversy over AI, even if it's just an element of AI or whatever it is. It's just going to ruin it. So I don't know. I don't know why. Like you said, there's nothing beats taking a photograph, and like we did the other night, right where you behind you, something you can't do with AI is when you are standing there in front of your scene and you turn the camera off and you can feel the breeze, you can hear the ocean, you can see the light, you can hang out with your friends, you can do all that kind of stuff. You can't do that with AI. No. And that's one of the joys of photography, is that you can actually go out, and it's not just your eyes that see something, it's every sense that you have is incorporated in that photograph. So I say it again, I'm not going to beep it. AI can go F itself. I would love to get the pricks that run this company on their podcast and have a chat to them, because they'll come on there and they'll spiel how, it's so intelligent. It was a bit of a piss take, and, it's a really powerful machine and this and that. But they won't take any responsibility for actually the ethics behind what they did in regards to landscape photography. So we're not going to get them on there. I'm not even going to mention who they are. I'm pissed off. You're pissed off. Hopefully our guest will be a little bit pissed off as well. If you're coming on the Melly Murray workshop and you think you're just going to create AI, don't book, because we're not going to talk. We're not going to talk about it. We're done. That's the last we're going to speak of AI on this channel, I think.
No, it won't be. It definitely won't be. It's going to rear its ugly head constantly, unfortunately, because it is what it is. It's more than a can of worms. It's the whole. Then AI creating AI, and its exponential growth is going to be. That's scary. That is scary. Where there'll be software where you'll be literally typing, a piece of journalism or a story or an essay for school or whatever, and in the background, without you doing a thing, it's creating the images that you need. That's where we're going, and that's exactly where it's headed. So strap yourselves in, folks, because it's going to be a very interesting ride. And those of you who are traditionalists like me and Cam, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
That's going to be a test. The funny story about that, and it's not just photography that's going to get screwed up the backside with AI.
It's going to be everything. Yeah,
journalists, poets, story writers, a whole lot. We had our book launch last week down at the beautiful Wild Island Gallery, and Tom and I were ready to go. And Ian Wallace, who's a great friend of both Tom and I, g'day Ian, because I know he generally watches. We were sitting there having a few beers before the launch, and I think someone said, "Oh, have you got your speeches made?" And I said, "Oh, Ian, you should get up and make a speech for us, because you know us both so well." And he got on his phone and he typed in an AI story thingo, said like book launch, Cradle Mountain, Hobart, Wild Island, Tom Putt, Cam Blake, bang, and it's put out this incredible couple of paragraphs. Yep. Like, it was one of the best speeches I've ever heard. Completely AI, completely made up, completely fake, unbelievable. So yeah, it's not just photography; it's across the board. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a bumpy ride, and hang on to your hats.
It certainly is. Anyway, if you would like to discuss with us this a little more, and I'm sure the comment section is going to light up like a Christmas tree after this one, hit us up below. Let us know your thoughts. We're keen to know what people think. Are we overreacting? Do you think there's a place for AI? I'm curious to know what people think.
I dare someone to put up there that they like the idea.
I think, there will be people that probably do,
and to good luck.
It's another challenge, isn't it? And in a world of challenges, where I feel like, as a landscape photographer, there's challenges every single day. This is just another one. This is another, twist in what's possible.
Yeah.
There'd be some people out there that say, that photo that we had up on the screen, the one that won the competition, that'd make a great canvas print.
Well, who owns the
money from that?
Who owns the rights to it?
This is the other thing, isn't it? Who does?
Is it the company that made it, or all the who could be thousands of photographers at every element went into that one shot?
Is it the computer program that made it? Is it Skynet?
It could be Skynet,
possibly.
Don't know. Anyway,
we'll move on. Tip of the week.
Tip of the week. Oh,
attaboy. There you go. See, you can sing.
Yeah. Last week you
just came out, Cam. That was really good. That was good. After all the negativity of AI.
Well, AI can go.
Hang on, am I speaking to Cam or are you AI?
Well, I could be. I could be anything.
Are we going to simulate? Don't
my last little point before we do tip of the week on that AI. You know what it does though? After I saw all this and after we've had a chat, all it does now is drive me even harder to make my landscape photographs look even more better than what they can be. It just makes me want to work harder now. If I've got to compete against the machine, then so be it.
Yeah, you know what it's made you say F you AI.
that's two beeps. Oh, you got to leave them in. I can guarantee you there will be a T-shirt getting made
as we speak
within the week. So anyway,
can you make it using AI? Tip of the week.
Probably, yeah.
Cam would like to briefly talk about shooting on auto ISO and its benefits.
Yeah. So the other week when I went up to Walls of Jerusalem for a walk, sometimes when you're hiking along, you're not setting up your tripod every time. You're sort of shooting from the hip, so to speak. And one thing I've noticed these days, and all the more modern cameras, their ISO noise in general daylight stuff is pretty damn impressive. There's no noise at all. Even when it gets up to sort of 1600, 3200 ISO, it's still pretty good. But what I end up doing with my camera is I thought instead of me sort of shooting at the lowest ISO all the time and, potentially introducing blur or lack of sharpness, I put it into auto ISO. And then what I did is I went into my camera settings and I put like a cap on the highest ISO it'll use. And I put it up to 1600 ISO. I left it on auto ISO and, shot on 5.6 f8 as I was walking along. And I was just shooting, not paying any attention to my ISO. Got back to my computer and, you cannot tell the difference between 100 ISO and 800 ISO. But the one thing I did get was nice, sharp handheld shots all the way through. So my tip is have a look into your camera and have a look at shooting an auto ISO. If you're sort of on the run a bit and you're sort of doing some shots, this is not for set up tripod, taking your time shots, but more if you're sort of on travel or on a bit of a walk somewhere. Shooting ISO, auto ISO, and then setting the parameter to max out your ISO at a certain level. It takes one of the part of that the triangle, the exposure triangle, it takes one of those things out of the equation that you don't have to worry about. And I found it was really a little bit freeing. Like I didn't have to sort of worry about looking back at the shot or checking the ISO and the shutter speed to make sure it was okay. So check out your auto ISO with a maximum ISO dialed in as well.
Love it.
There you go.
Cool. Good tip.
Thanks.
I've got nothing to add to it. Everything you said was spot on.
It was all AI. I just typed it in there and said, give me a tip about some ISO, and I just spit it all out.
Thank you, ChatGPT, for helping us out. No. Not although that's no. A little bit of gear talk. Polarizer. I'm assuming you're going to allude back to basically when this photo was taken.
Yes.
When you and I sort of went off on two different ways to shoot photos. One with polarizer, one was without.
Yeah. Well, it was demanded by the crowd that we have this discussion. I don't know if we've got enough time to have this discussion, but
of course we haven't, but we'll do it anyway.
So gear talk was, should you use a polarizer all the time? Yes or no? And the reason why this came up is because Brendan and I differ a little bit, and not so much during the normal part of the day, but we differ probably, 30 minutes, 45 minutes before sunset or just after sunrise when we put our polarizing filter on or off. So for me, I leave my polarizer on all the time until it literally gets dark. Brendan's a little bit different. He takes it off a little bit earlier beforehand. So the gear talk around this is, should you have a polarizer? I think 100% yes, you should have a polarizer. How often do you use it with landscape photography? I would say almost all the time. But when you take it off, that's one of the big questions we get. And I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to that.
No, there's definitely not. It's personal preference. And, we put a little mayo on it the other night during the workshop.
We might have had a bit of banter about it.
We pretended that, Cam went off saying that he was right. And I want to say, no, I'm right because of this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, for me, from my experience, particularly when I'm shooting with a longer lens, in that sunset time and the sun's getting lower and lower in the sky, I'm a bit of a fan of shooting handheld for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's where the polarizer can be a bit tricky because you lose a couple of stops of light to a polarizer, generally speaking. So shooting handheld gets harder and harder. Yes, with image stabilization, and yes, with particularly the OM system, how good that is at image stabilization built in.
Yeah.
You can get away with a lot more. I just find, again from experience, that tack sharpness tends to go out of it. My shutter speed drops below 1/60th of a second, which is hard for handheld, and I'm not a huge fan of taking the ISO over 1600 as well. So, again, wanting to still be as free as I possibly can with my shooting and not be married to a tripod, so I can keep making compositions from all different angles. I think I prefer not to shoot with a polarizer. Now, having said all of that, I have just been reintroduced to the OM system, particularly OM5 with that image stabilizer. That may change. I may look at it now and go, actually, I can get away with a little bit more now with the camera I've got. But I still think having as much available light at lower ISO values generally leads to a cleaner image. So that's what I'll err on the side of for now.
Okay, so you're wrong. That's okay.
See, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. No, we did put a bit of mayo on it the other night, and I don't think there's a right or wrong. I leave mine on. I actually leave mine on, funnily enough, for the complete opposite reason you do. So you take yours off to let more light in, so you can shoot handheld.
Yes.
I predominantly leave mine on later in the day to actually slow my shutter speeds down because I want to try and smooth out water or waterfalls or rivers or clouds or whatever it is. So. But I'm used to shooting something that's got a very high-end IS image stabilizer system. So I can hand hold almost a couple of seconds, hand on heart, a couple of seconds without a tripod. So that's why I leave mine on, because it actually helps as a two-stop neutral density, so to speak. So definitely. We both have different means to that. And who knows, I might swap eventually and say, you know what, I'm actually wanting to have, the one thing I do notice about shooting with the polarizer a little bit later in the day is you get a little bit more vignetting around the skies, which you can sort of fix up. I don't mind it. But there is definitely.
I'm a fan of the vignette. I really like it. I like particularly where you can see it in this shot behind me. Like it's almost got a natural vignette to it because it's so lit up in that one spot there. By the way, that was done with spot metering, that photo. That's why it really sort of pops the nice bright sun right on the person who's lost their drone.
That's got a real sort of Kodak sort of film feel about it.
It's warm, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's warm as. I like it, and because the conditions lent itself to that, the dark, broody clouds in the background. Which look, let's be honest, that's the conditions we got weren't amazing, but we needed to use all our skill level to be able to get shots like that. But also, it was great because we were able to impart that skill onto our students that were doing the workshop as well. And I know I've seen a couple of people have posted some shots from that spot using those settings, like using spot metering, for example, and got probably better results than they're used to. So that's great. That's a win for us.
Well, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Just getting better results. So, but I think to sum up the gear talk, a polarizer, there's no question you should have one in your kit.
100%.
So that's something we do agree on. When you use it or when you change it or when you take it off, that's up to you.
Well, can you cover up your camera for a sec?
I can.
That photo behind you, polarizer, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so the areas I'd like to point out, if you look between the two trees on the left-hand side, those green trees behind there, the tops of them, you can tell that's you've cut through the glare and reflection off those leaves to give you that beautiful, almost yellow green color through there. So
and also down the main tree down the bottom, you'll see it sort of goes into that dark birth. So what I'd use there is just to take the shine off the wet bark. So without a polarizer, that bark just doesn't get that color. It looks a bit lost in the sort of reflective surface.
Yeah. It certainly helps with separation of subjects, and particularly when you're taking glare, or in some cases adding reflection.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's funny you say that as well, because the shots I got of that beach, you can see behind you the water, where the sand's wet and the sky's reflecting off the water. I was noticing quite a big difference on my camera with the polarizer. It was almost cutting that glare out. So I actually wanted to keep that reflective surface in. So I actually sort of turned it off, so to speak. So yeah. But
had your polarizer on, but turned it off.
Yeah, so same as you.
I'm hearing what you're saying. Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
You're off to Bruny Island for an OM day on Sunday, which is a whole week away for us, but it's in 2 days for our listeners.
A couple of days. So I'll be heading off down there for another OM day. I've got some OM days going in Melbourne in June too, just before we do our down south Photoshop ones in June. But they're almost all sold out, which is cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so Bruny Island, Sunday, should be nice. It's a great little day trip from Hobart, and we'll get all the gear out.
I know a very avid Down South Photo Show listener who is on Bruny Island as we speak.
Is he on Bruny Island as we speak?
He is. He has the Fam Bam over on Bruny.
It's funny you say that, because I've messaged that person a couple of times asking if he'd like to catch up for a beer, and he hasn't got time for me.
He's blanked you.
No, he hasn't blanked me. He just hasn't got time. I think they've underestimated how cool Tassie is and how much stuff there is to see. But
absolutely, and this is just the beginning of their Round Australia Odyssey. So I don't know how far they're going to get if this is the pace they're going to set early.
I thought that myself. We're talking about Ash Hughes for those who don't know. So go check out Ash Hughes Photography. He's actually put up 2 episodes so far of his trip, which I've watched both of them. I
haven't seen the second one yet, but I will watch that tonight.
The second one was cool today. I just watched that before, and
it's good, isn't it? It's fly on the wall kind of style, isn't it? I like it. I like it. Yeah. It's very raw. It's very unedited. It's very clean. Yeah, if you know what I mean. Like it's wholesome.
And it's a good thing. One thing I came to realize after watching that, and he's sort of our third host, so to speak, that out of the 3 hosts of the Down South Photo Show, he by far has the worst beard out of all of us.
Oh, that goes without saying.
I gave mine a trim the other day, but his is terrible.
It's a stinker. What is it with landscape photographers and beards?
I don't know. I reckon he's got half a Tassie still hanging out in his beard there. So
he's got the Jesus look going. It's great.
He does it. Yeah, he's enjoying it, and looks like his wife and kids are having a good time as well. And
he's not the Messiah. He's a very
naughty boy. So hopefully, if he gets time, we'll catch up for a beer. But totally understand if we can't.
Hopefully, if he's got time, we'll get him on the show from somewhere remote.
Well, we could.
He's got Starlink, so he can go from anywhere.
We could dial him in for an episode.
That's what I mean.
But he leaves. I think he leaves soon, so he might miss out. Right. But you're not going to be here next week. You're going to the warmer state of Queensland, aren't you?
I am heading to Queensland for my lovely niece's wedding. She decided to get married up in Noosa, which is fine by me. I used to live there, so I know it I know that area maybe we should do a workshop there too.
I was just going to say.
Oh my God, here we go. So up there just for a very long weekend. We'll be up there for 5 days, 4 days, 5 days, something like that. So looking forward to that. That'll be great. It'll actually be my end of the mad season break finally.
Yeah, cool.
Last year I went to Port Fairy, but that was around Australia Day. So we've had to sort of keep working through to get to this little break. Always good hanging out with this is Sally's side of the family, my wife's side of the family. So always great hanging out with that mob. So that'll be awesome. Really looking forward to it. We'll catch up with a couple of mates up in Noosa as well while I'm up there.
Cool.
And visit the Noosa Head Surf Club, which is the best surf club in the world. I don't care what anyone tells me. It is amazing.
Playing golf?
No.
Ooh.
No time for that. Too much time relaxing by a pool.
And you call yourself a golfer?
No, that's the golf's on the back burner for a little while, but we'll get there. Is there anything else to add, Cam? As I ask you at the end of every episode. What an episode. There's been a lot. You look exhausted.
I look exhausted because
you blew a gasket talking about
AI. Just that AI shit. Like, come on. Like, give us a break. Like, just stop trying to reinvent something.
Yeah, exactly. Stop messing with our shit.
Yeah, just leave the landscape photography. Like, go and make an AI of something else.
Oh, I know, right?
Enter an art prize and put in a Mona Lisa's sister or something like that. Who gives a shit about photography? Leave it alone. Just stop touching it.
Yeah.
And for anyone out there listening, and I know we get lots of listeners from all over the world, we'll put a link down below to the story we're referring to if you haven't seen it in your country or state or territory. But have a serious think about it. Like AI is, it's, as we said, it's incredible technology, but I really don't think it has a place in what we love doing. Fair enough, if people want to create that digital artwork, digital photography, then yeah, chuck it in its own category, preferably not on this planet, somewhere else. And let people do it somewhere else.
Preferably not up in our grills. You're exactly right. And it's just a case where it is going to become an art form all of its own. Look, just like photographers were ostracized in the late 1800s, early 1900s, I guess. I mean, photography was seen as not an art form. It was some kind of voodoo, right?
Yeah, black magic.
But I don't think this is the same. This is different. No. This, as I say, there's no skill.
Yeah.
So I can literally, I could even not even have to type anything. I could just say it.
Yeah.
How long before I can just think it?
Yep. Yep. And it's, like, having said that as well, like there is some AI art out there. There's a guy in Launceston who's been doing some AI. It's like all these made up bugs. They're like bees, but they're a cross between a bee and a wasp and a grasshopper.
So that's screamingly obvious that it's fake.
That's right, but it looks bloody incredible. Like it really does.
It's photorealistic, but it's obviously this animal doesn't exist.
That's right. So that stuff's cool, but when again, the company that did it, I'm not going to say
it's when they're passing it off as real. That's the problem. That's when it becomes a problem. It's counterfeit.
It is. And I'm not going to say to this company, hang your head in shame. Like, you do what you want. Like, no one, we're a small little podcast here in Australia who, means nothing. But just think about, yes, you're trying to get clicks and likes and make a point. Well, what point have you made? You might have just, pulled that last brick out of the wall.
Yeah, that's the straw that's going to break the camel's back, possibly.
Anyway. So be it.
Anyway, there we go. That has been episode 68 of the Down South Photo Show. As I say, you guys don't know that I'm having a week off, but I am. It's the magic of podcasting.
Yes. Well, you enjoy your time in Queensland.
We'll do, mate. We'll do.
I'll just take care of things back here with the workshops and
sell a few workshops for us. That'd be
awesome.
Yeah.
Look, you just go chill out on the sunny beaches of Queensland, and I'll just bust my ass down here.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. How the tables have turned.
They have.
Okay, cool. Folks, thanks for listening in. We'll catch you for episode 69 next week. Bye for now.
See you later, AI.